Hey Destis and bride friends, welcome back to the Desti Guide to Destination Weddings. I am so glad that you are here. I hope you guys had a great week, and this is a great interview. So I hope you guys enjoyed Jamella's interview. It was awesome. I'm hearing great things about it. Jamella, love you. And I have another one coming up right now, and that is Candace Coppola. So this woman right here is Candace Coppola. So Candace is the owner of Jubilee Events and Jubilee Caribbean. So she's an amazing wedding planner. She plans destination weddings around the world. She has an awesome team that works with her. And I've actually shared this interview on the podcast for season 1, but I actually have the video portion of it. So I really wanted to share this with you guys. I actually have people who've heard it who said, and because I mentioned that I had the video, and like, where's the video? So I realized that I have not shared it here on Desti TV. So that is what we're doing today. So Candace has been in the business for over 10 years, and really she shared everything. I asked so many questions. You guys know I love to ask my questions, and she answered every single one. We talked about specifically Barbados, what it takes to get married in Barbados, and that's like legally, any advice about luxurious destinations, the differences. So like I got married in Mexico, so we talked about the differences between having like an island wedding and then, not. And then we just dug into all of the how to plan a destination wedding no matter where you are. So what sorts of things should you be thinking about when dealing with your wedding planner or choosing your vendors or dealing with your clients or planning and saving money? And what if you've already made certain mistakes? How do you fix them? Planning a budget conscious wedding. I mean, we really dug into it. We even talked about how to choose your wedding destination. Man, we went over it all, and I'm excited to share it with you. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I know that you will. We even dug into tips for multicultural and same-sex couples deciding to have destination weddings. We really dug into it all. So Candace, thank you so very much. I'm so very happy and appreciative of you spending the time. I mean, you guys, Candace Coppola, again, these are the sorts of weddings that she does. I will share them right here. Can't you love this? Isn't this awesome sauce? Woo, yes. But again, Candace, thank you so very much for this. You guys, thank you for watching. And wait, we also talked about Candace's destination wedding book. She is a 2-time published author, and this is the book that came out last year. It's awesome. It's still so relevant. Clearly, it's still a new book. And it's called The White Dress Destinations, the definitive guide to planning the new destination wedding. So we talk about the book. It's really great. I mean, it's awesome. I'm not going to dig too deep into it, but first of all, I love Saint Germain. Seriously, first page I go to. It's beautiful photos, but then it also talks about it gives you a lot of tips. So we talked about her book. She told you how to plan a destination wedding. She told you how to fix mistakes you've already made. She tells you how to avoid making certain mistakes and how to have awesome time. And interviews don't get better than that. I love this. I believe it's awesome. I love being able to share these with you. My wedding was ages ago at this point, and it's just awesome to be able to share them with you guys. So I hope that you enjoy it. I know that you will. And if you're new here, welcome, and consider subscribing. So hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and you will be notified every time a new video comes. And then also, if you haven't introduced yourself, drop a line in the comments and let me know when you're getting married and where you're getting married. And you guys, as usual, if you ever have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you. And all details are waiting for you in DestiLand. So for Candace's interview, I have a mini photo gallery of her photos, and then all the links to everything for you to be able to reach her and find her. But then also things that we've talked about while we were in our interview. All details are always in DestiLand, so be sure to check that out. The link is in the description below. So thank you for watching. I love you guys. And as usual, I'm wishing you all the best week of your life and reminding you to have the time of your life, planning the best days of your life. Bye, guys. Alrighty, so Hi, Candice. Welcome to the
Hi.
show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, thank you. Obviously, you're ridiculously busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and give us some Bride Friends information. So,
Of course.
yeah,
My pleasure.
yeah. So, I gave everybody an intro ahead of time, but can you tell us about you?
Sure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Candace Copeland. I have been a wedding planner for over 10 years, to be my 11th year this year. Very exciting. I opened up my first business, Jubilee Events, in the state of Connecticut in 2007. And in 2014, I actually expanded my business into the Caribbean after I married my West Indian husband. And we decided that the best place for us to start our lives together was in Barbados, where he's from. So 2014, I moved to Barbados. I decided to expand my business and enter into the destination wedding market here by bringing a sister brand of our company, Jubilee Events, from Connecticut to here. So we have two event planning companies. One in Connecticut serves all the surrounding areas. Plus, that company does European destination weddings, Mexican destination weddings, and then destination weddings throughout the United States, where my primary focus in terms of servicing my clients personally is strictly just to the Caribbean and mostly Barbados.
Okay. That is a mouthful. Yes, this is
Yeah,
see
it's a
you
lot.
guys see why I wanted her on here. She's like the epitome of what we need.
Yeah, I could
Um,
go on. I mean, there's more things, but in a nutshell, that is what really defines me. That's what I do on a daily basis. And in addition to that, I'm a two-time published author. So I wrote my first book, The White Dress in Color, Inspirations for the Modern Bride in 2013. And that's still available. You can buy it at Barnes& and Noble and Amazon at fine retailers. It's really an inspirational coffee table book with some advice. And then in February of this year, my second book is launching. It's The White Dress Destination. So it's a series of books. And this book is focused strictly on destination weddings. So this is super timely. And
right.
it was really interesting to write. And so this book is inspirational and very informational. So it really walks you through planning a destination wedding anywhere in the world.
Ooh, okay, and we are going to dig into that book a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you said that you got married. Now, wait. So your husband is from Barbados.
Yes.
Did you
Yeah.
get married in Barbados?
I did. I actually eloped.
Did you?
I did. Yeah. For me,
Are you
you
over
know,
weddings? Kind of. This is what you
well,
do.
yeah, I mean, it's really hard. It's like, the shoemakers doesn't have any shoes. So for us, it just made sense. It was really about a marriage for us, and we didn't want to do a big party. And as much as I get to throw fabulous parties and work with amazing clients, I didn't necessarily have the same budget they have. That's for me and other things besides a big old wedding. So we're talking about like a 5-year anniversary blowout party. We'll see though. I'm a little frugal, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, the plan was to have a big wedding afterwards. We sort of eloped in private. But then once you get married, there's no reason to do it
I
again.
know, yeah, it's kind of the thing. That's
Yeah.
one of the questions. So, actually, since we're just in there, just what are your thoughts on the have the destination wedding and then doing something at home?
Sure. I mean, I think destination weddings, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And if you're truly having a small wedding with just a very intimate number of guests, I think you can absolutely, if finances allow, throw another party for all your family and friends who are local to you that couldn't make it or that you weren't able to invite. And that doesn't have to be a second wedding. I mean, it doesn't have to have a band and centerpieces and the whole, traditional style wedding. It can
Right.
literally be something fun, something simple, something festive, and you can showcase pictures from your destination wedding, maybe your video, so people can see and just share it with them first before you post it anywhere on social, so people can feel like they were there and you can celebrate with them in that way.
I like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
ended up. I have a bride that I interviewed last year, and she talked about what she did was she had an event, but they laid out their dress, like her dress and his tux, and then they had photos, so everybody was kind of be able to go, oh, this is what you wore, and I thought that was interesting. It's like, oh, it's like a museum almost for your wedding.
A capsule collection of our wedding that took
Yeah,
place. Yeah.
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 Okay, so let's start because Barbados is where you are, and you do obviously Jubilee events like you said, helps with weddings all around the world. Let's
Right.
start with Barbados.
Sure.
So, I guess what is the difference between Barbados and, say, Mexico?
Sure. Well, Barbados is an island, so it has that sort of island flair. Similarities with Mexico is culture. So Barbados has a lot of culture. And in terms of style and feel, I mean, Mexico is traditionally lesser expensive than Barbados.
Right.
Barbados is definitely more of a luxury island. But I think what truly sets it apart is the island culture, our unique locations, definitely the views that we have here, and the ocean is, Caribbean Ocean, where in Mexico, I mean, you sort of have that and you sort of don't. So literally the ocean here is like a turquoise pool. I mean, it's beautiful. We're protected by reef. So you have this full Caribbean vibe to Barbados. So in terms of differentiation, I think it just really depends on what people are looking for. Barbados was also a British colony, so we have a lot of English traditions and ways of doing things. And, architecture-wise, we have some of that old English, Caribbean, Creole architecture, which is really, unique to certain islands in the Caribbean. So just the look and feel are totally different. Food is different. We're rum-based. Mexico's tequila. So I actually just came from a conference in Mexico, and the differences are very stark when you visit the two. Just overall, just a totally, completely different type of experience.
Okay. And how would you, say, because you do weddings everywhere, does the client come to you and say, hey, I need help with choosing? Like, how would somebody choose their destination?
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about planning a destination wedding. And in my book, I talk about tools that you can use to sort of figure out what destination is right for you. But ultimately, I think the majority of people having a destination wedding choose a destination that bears some significance to them. So that can be a destination where maybe they had their first vacation together as a couple, could be a place where their family would go for Christmas every year, maybe a place they just love to travel to. So finding a destination that is of significance to you, I think, is the appropriate place to start. And then also trying to understand what you want from a destination wedding. So some couples are looking to have a destination wedding at a luxury brand hotel like a Ritz or a Four Seasons.
Right.
And not every destination is going to have those hotels. So you might want to narrow it down based on what your preference is in terms of accommodations and hotel stay. So there are a lot of factors that go into choosing a destination, but I think a destination that has some relevance to you as a couple, that speaks to the style wedding you want, is very important, are two really big factors.
Okay. And would you say that what comes first, the budget or the destination?
The budget for sure, because the budget's going to dictate what destination is going to be right for you. So, for instance, St. Bart's is going to have a totally different price point than Mexico. Right. And Mexico does have St. Bart's prices in certain resorts, but you can also find some really economical options in Cancun or Playa del Carmen. So when you're looking at like a super luxury end island versus a location that has salt, sand, palm trees, and maybe a lesser price, you're going to want to consult your budget first. Budget is something that every couple should really sit down and talk about before they enter into any contracts or even any research, just understanding what their comfort zone is and also who's contributing to the budget. Right. Is anybody's parents or grandparents helping out? Is the couple fully responsible? And what do they intend the money to go towards? And destination weddings, I think a big misconception is that they're lesser expensive. They're not. It's just tend to invite less people or think less people will come, which then brings the cost down. But the actual cost per person is oftentimes more than a wedding in your hometown or in your home state or city. And the reason for that is couples typically want to create a weekend experience, right, or a week experience and treat their guests to a catamaran cruise or ski lessons if it's in Aspen, or, based on the destination, activities and parties surrounding the wedding typically creep into the budget. So budget's really important to figure out first.
Okay. Now I know that luxury weddings are your thing. Like you've got that down to a T, which means in my mind that you can pretty much do a wedding in any way. So if someone wanted to have a wedding in a luxury place, say St. Bart's or Barbados,
right?
What would you recommend as ways to save money or to do it on a lower? What are the important things to be able to have your wedding at that destination, but if you have a lower budget?
Sure. So what's going to help a couple who is very budget conscious is to try to find a location to host your wedding that has everything that you need already. So it has an on-site kitchen, catering staff, forks, knives, shelter, power, bathrooms. It's when you get into planning a wedding at a villa or a plantation or a unique location that isn't necessarily facilitating dinner for 50 people all the time, is where you're going to find added costs. So if you're cost conscious or you're really just trying to find ways to invest your money wisely, I would suggest amazing restaurants, or hotels as options for the biggest expense for your wedding, which is always the reception, food and beverage and service is always going to be the biggest part of your budget. So finding a location that has everything you could possibly need already, and then you can decide if you want to upgrade the chair or the linen or the flatware or add in a charger plate or, customize what they already own.
Oh, I love that. And that's so true because we got married in Mexico, but we had our wedding in off the resort at a private beach club, and they did have a kitchen, but you have to pay for the generator. You've got to pay to bring lighting. Like it was a completely, secluded area. So that makes a ton of sense. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do people? How do we pick a planner? What are important things to decide on choosing a planner and finding someone?
I think first and foremost, your best bet is to go through Google and try to find a planner in your destination first and see if you can find anybody whose work you admire, who is reputable and experienced. And I would encourage you to first start locally because you really want to support the local economy. And as much as there are fantastic destination wedding planners in the States, and we're also one of them, it's always best to look to somebody who's local and has that local knowledge because they can also refer you to people who are going to be within your budget and who are the best fit for you personality-wise and aesthetic-wise. So interview local planners first, and I definitely suggest more than one. You don't want to go with the first person you look at. You want some things to compare, and that really goes for most of your vendors as well, unless somebody's highly recommended or you're already aware of them. So check first, and then you can also check somebody who might be local to you and see if they might be a good fit and have some knowledge of the destination you're considering. And I think ultimately what makes a good match between a couple and a planner is their priorities are in line. They speak the same language. So you want to find somebody who is like you, who values what you values and is going to have your back and your best interests at heart, who's also going to tell you straight and not going to sugarcoat things, be honest with you whether you want to hear it or not. So for me as your planner, I'm going to tell you the truth about something based on my experience. Might not be what you want to hear, but I'm going to be honest with you. So you're looking for somebody with integrity, but ultimately it's a personality match. So aside from experience and professionalism and style and all those things, you want to find somebody who you're okay with talking to basically every day for the next however many days, months, or years you're planning, and that personality-wise you guys match.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes, it really just, it makes sense totally.
Yeah.
If you don't mesh with that person, then it's not going to work out. It's a relationship that you guys have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, your planner and your photographer are really the two people you're going to hire who are going to have the most intimate relationship with you. They're going to see you in those moments that are tough, sad, and especially happy and joyful. They're going to be with you when you're stressed, and they're going to be with you when your family's acting crazy, and they're going to see all the dark secrets and all the things that come out to light during the planning process, all the craziness, and then also all the joyous moments. And so you want somebody who you want to share those moments with and who gets it, who's going to be your voice of reason and the person you can call on to just come in and give you some advice and help you out.
I love that. Yes, yeah. That's yes, it's so true. What do you wish? So before someone comes to you, what do you wish that they knew about about destination weddings before they even come to you?
It's a great question. I wish they knew that destination weddings aren't the excuse to have a destination wedding. Doesn't mean you get to save money. Doesn't mean that it's less or expensive than having a wedding again in your hometown or state or city. Destination weddings on average are more expensive than local weddings, just based on the sheer logistics of them. And there are certain cost factors in a wedding that don't change no matter how many people attend. And those things are photography, videography. There are certain elements in a wedding, like your dress and your rings. Those are hard costs that don't fluctuate based on the number of people that come. Seriously, so just because you have 30 people at your wedding doesn't mean that you're only going to spend $10,000. In fact, our clients typically spend about $30,000 plus for 30 people, all encompassing for their entire budget. So destination weddings aren't a way to save money. And also, when you invite someone to your wedding and you expect them not to come, that's also a huge mistake. I say to all my clients, if you send out a save the date, you are obligated to send an invitation and expect every single person to RSVP yes to your invitation. Whether you believe them to genuinely come or not, you'd be very surprised at the number of people who these days are super willing to travel, very much willing to spend some money and go to your destination wedding. They might not go and spend the night at the Ritz. They might go get an Airbnb, but they'll take a cab to your wedding and they'll do it on the cheap and they're all in. And so if you have 100 people on your list, expect 100 people to come and budget for 100 people. Otherwise, you're going to be really disappointed when everybody RSVPs yes, except for like 2 people. And then now you're really stuck with planning a party for 98 people and you only budgeted for 40. So
yes. I just this week had a conversation with the bride and I was telling her the same thing. That's one of the things I feel like is out there, and it's just that old information that it used to be a cheaper idea, or people didn't really care to travel, or they were afraid of traveling. But now I feel like, especially with like Instagram and Pinterest, all these things out here, people are loving the idea of traveling and they're gonna make it work. Like, they have been surprising brides and couples for a while now. But when they look up the information, they still do expect maybe 20% may not come and all these crazy numbers. And I'm finding out we were surprised by a lot of the guests that came.
Yeah, of course.
So what do you do? Well, what do we say to the brides out there, like our bride friends right now, who have already done that? They sent out 100 and they only were expecting 40 to come. And 90 have RSVP'd and their budget is what it is. What do they do now? How do they fix, or where are ways where they can save, or what are they going to have to do? They already have their dress. So what do they do?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of hard. You have to take
Something's
a look
gotta cut. You gotta cut something, right?
You have to look.
Don't miss part 2. Don't miss part 2. Don't miss part 2. Don't miss part 2.